कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। भगवद्गीता चैप्टर 2 श्लोक 17. I will chant. You can repeat the line with your microphones off. अविनाशी तो तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति। आत्म तत्व. Atma is tattva. That is why sometimes it is called Atma. There is tattva and atattva. Tattva means reality. Atattva means not real. Atma is the reality. Therefore it is called tattvam. Atma eva tattvam. Atma is tattva. Therefore it is called Atma Tattvam. What is Tattva? The philosophers have different understandings regarding Tattva. According to somebody, there are 25 Tattvas. According to somebody else, there are 7 Tattvas. According to somebody else, there are 16 Tattvas. And so on and so on. But the Vedanta is very clear. There is only one Tattva. That is Atma Tattva. Brahma Tattva. Atma Tattva is Brahma Tattva. The Tattva is Atma. And the Tattva is Brahman. Only one Tattva. Ekamevadvitiyam. One without a second. There is no second. Ekameva. Only one. And now Bhagavan is describing the one Tattva, which is Atma Tattva. Avinashi tu tadviddhi. Tat avinashi. The Atma is avinashi. Atma Tattva is avinashi. Avinashi means which does not have vinasha, which does not have destruction. More precisely, which does not have disappearance. The word nasha is derived from the root nasha adarshane. Therefore, nasha means disappearance. Nashyati means disappears, appears and disappears. That is vinashi. Anything that appears and disappears is called vinashi. It is true with everything in the world. Everything in the world appears and disappears. Even the students for Gita session appear and disappear. Sometimes they appear, sometimes they disappear. Nowadays on the screen. It is true with everything, including our body. Even the body appears and disappears. When does the body disappear? You don't have to wait for a long. Even after a few hours or a few minutes, the body will disappear. When you go to bed, you go to sleep, what happens? Body disappears. You are not aware of the body. The body has disappeared for you. Similarly, even your mind has disappeared for you. When you are asleep, your mind, your body, your house, the whole world has disappeared. And it happens every day. It's an everyday experience. Disappearance of the body, disappearance of the mind, and disappearance of the world is an everyday experience. Therefore, everything other than Atma is vinashi. It is subject to appearance and disappearance. Whereas Atma is avinashi. It never disappears. It is always evident as the very self. It is present even during waking, even during dream, even during sleep. You cannot go away from yourself. You can go away from anything but not yourself. There was a gentleman This gentleman did not have peace of mind, lot of tension. And he came to me once, Swamiji, I don't have peace of mind. I don't have mental peace. It was his complaint. Then I suggested him, for a while you go away from home, stay in some ashram, meditate in the ashram, and then come back. This is what I suggested him. But then he says, even if I go to the ashram, I am myself. I cannot go away from me. The same me will go to the ashram, carrying the same headaches. Therefore, he said, going to the ashram is not going to serve the purpose. Then what will serve the purpose? The only way is to understand your true self. You are not the mind. You are not the head which bears all the headaches. Only this understanding can solve the problem. Not going to any ashram, not going to Rishikesh, not going to Kedarnath or Badrinath. The solution is here, within yourself. Therefore, the Atma is Avinashi. Avinashi va are ayamatma. Brihadaranyaka says, this Atma is Avinashi. It does not go away. It has no disappearance. It has no destruction. That is yourself. Everything that goes away from you at any point of time is not yourself, is not your nature. The Chaitanya, the consciousness, never goes away. It is your true self. Tu means unlike, Vailakshanya, unlike the Anatma, unlike the non-self, which is Vinashi, which is subject to disappearance, subject to destruction, the Atma is Avinashi. Vidhi, understand the Atma. This is a suggestion to Arjuna and people like Arjuna. Understand the Atma. Understand the true nature of the Atma. Vidhi. Atma is worth knowing. Anatma is not worth knowing. People are busy understanding the Anatma, probing into the nature of Anatma. Unfortunately, most of the people do not even understand that there is something called knowing the Atma. Majority of the people do not even know that they don't know the Atma. Majority of the people are not even aware of the ignorance of their own self. We have an identity, the identity of body, mind, etc. The limited identity, the Aadhaar card identity, the passport identity, and we think this is our true identity and this is our only identity. We hardly think of the possibility of a greater identity. Therefore, majority of the people do not even seek Atmajnana. Therefore, Krishna says, Vidhi, understand the Atma. Understand the true nature of the Atma. And if you understand the true nature of the Atma, you will not be disappointed. Why I spent such a long time understanding the Atma? You will not be disappointed. Because the Atma is not something limited. If you understand anything limited, you are going to be disappointed. Because anything limited does not promise happiness. Na alpe sukhamasti. There is no sukha in anything that is limited. Then where is the sukha? Where is the happiness? The happiness is there in the infinite. The happiness is present in the one that is free from all limitations, free from all boundaries, free from all borders, free from all confines. And that is the Atma. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Yena Atmana. By which Atma? By which Atma Tattva? Idam sarvam. All this, everything that is in the universe, tatam means vyaptam, is pervaded. The Atma pervades everything in the universe. Atma is all pervasive. Being all pervasive, the Atma is free from all limitations. Since it is free from all limitations, it is Purna, complete. Therefore, it is Sukham, it is Ananda. Atma is Ananda. Therefore, discovering the Atma, discovering the Self, makes you free from all limitations, makes you free from all sense of limitations, and you discover the Ananda, the totality, the completeness. Yena sarvamidam tatam. Idam sarvam. This whole universe, all that is in the world, is pervaded by the Atma alone. How pervaded? Generally, we think pervaded means everything contains Atma. Just like the room contains air, Atma is sitting in everything. It is not so. In fact, everything is supported by the Atma. It is not that Atma is supported by everything. It's not that everything is it's not that Atma is supported by everything. Everything is supported by Atma. Atma is the substance of everything. Atma is the substratum of everything. That is how Atma pervades everything. Just like the movie screen pervades everything that is projected on the movie screen. All the pictures in the movie screen, none of the picture in the movie screen is independent of the movie screen. Similarly, Atma is the substance of everything. That is how everything is pervaded by Atma. Yena sarvamidam tatam. विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अस्य अव्ययस्य. Atma is avyaya. Yannavyeti tadavyayam. That which does not undergo any change is called avyaya. The one that is free from all modifications is called avyaya. Everything in the universe is subject to changes. Our body is subject to changes. Everything associated with the body is subject to changes. The relations are subject to changes. Hardly any relation remains the same for a very long time. Whether it is mother-son relation, father-son relation, husband-wife relation, mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relation. Consider any relation in the world. And consider how they change with the time. The relations change with the time. That is why do not get disturbed with the changes in the relation. Someone was loving you and now you feel he does not love you as much as before. It may or may not be true. Sometimes it may be your feeling, and sometimes it may be true also that the relation has changed over time. It is very much possible. But do not get disturbed with the change in the relation. It is not worth getting disturbed because of change in any relation. Because that is the nature of relation. The relations are subject to change. They have vyaya. Possessions are subject to change. Money is subject to change. Everyone knows. What happens in the stock market? All are aware of the volatility of stock market. From minute to minute, second to second, the stock market changes. Sometimes it is bullish, sometimes it is bearish. There are changes in stock market. Money is subject to change. The value of money is subject to change. Even the 100 rupees in your pocket, you think it remains same. 100 rupees, 100 rupees, 100 rupees. But the value of 100 rupees changes. Sometimes its value decreases. Sometimes its value increases. Inflation, deflation, everything happens. Therefore, wealth, relations, all these are subject to changes. And if we hold on to something that is changeable, if we hold on to things that are variables, we will be in problem. It can disturb us. Therefore, the Shastra says, do not rely on the things that keep changing. Do not rely on the things that are unpredictable. Instead, rely on the Avyaya, which is nothing but the Atma, nothing but the Brahman. Avyayasya asya, the Avyaya, Atma, Brahman. Rely on the Brahman, rely on the Atma. Then one might as well ask, what is the guarantee that the Atma is also reliable? Why someone cannot destroy the Atma? Is there a possibility that someone can take away the Atma also? Is there a possibility that someone can destroy the Atma also? Then Krishna says, no chance. Rest assured. न कश्चित् विनाशं कर्तुमर्हति. No one can destroy the Atma. Kaschit, anybody. Asya Atmanah Avyayasya. This Avyaya Atma Tattva. Vinasham na kartumarhati. Nobody can destroy the Atma. Nobody can disturb, nobody can damage the Atma. Nobody can make the Atma disappear. Therefore, it is the only permanent thing, indestructible, eternal principle is Atma. Therefore, understand the Atma and rely on the Atma if you want happiness, if you want peace. Shloka 18. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyoktah sharirinaha anashino prameyasya तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत. Deha and Sharira are two words used for this body. The body is called Deha and the body is called Sharira also in Sanskrit. In English it is called body, B-O-D-Y, body. I don't know what it means. What is the meaning of B? What is the meaning of O? I have no idea. Because English language is not strictly etymological in nature. There are words that are conventionally used in a particular sense. That's it. You cannot ask the question, why body is called body? This question does not have an answer. Even the English teacher cannot answer. Am I right? But in Sanskrit, you can ask the question, why it is called Dehaha? It is called Deha because it has growth. Diha upachaye dhatu. Diha means to grow. The word Deha is formed by the word Diha upachaye. That which grows is called Deha. That which can grow is called Deha. Someone has sent the etymology of body from Proto-West Germanic bodage, body, trunk. So, yeah, there is some etymology. Yeah. So Diha upachaye, that which grows. The body has growth. That is why it's called Dehaha. Dehaha means it is subject to growth. And it is called Shariram. Shiryate iti Shariram. It is subject to disintegration, subject to degeneration. Therefore, it is called Shariram. Shiryate iti Shariram. Therefore, the body is called both Dehaha and Shariram. The words Dehaha and Shariram signify the changes that happen in the body. Mainly two forms of changes that happen in the body. Therefore, Krishna uses the body. Krishna refers to the body as both Deha and Sharira. And then he refers to the Atma as a Dehi as well as a Shariri. Deha asya astiti dehi. One who has a body, one who is present in the body is called Dehi or Shariri. One who is present in the body has to be different from the body. Just like one who lives in a house is different from the house, distinct from the house. Similarly, the Atma, it is the indweller of the body. It is present in the body. That means it is distinct from the body. Dehi or Shariri is different from Deha or Sharira. Now there are two things, body and one who resides in the body. Deha and Dehi, or Sharira and Shariri. Among these two, Krishna says the Sharira, as the very word signifies, is temporary, impermanent. The Sharira is called Deha when it is subject to growth. When we grow, we are not aware of the disintegration that is going to happen later on. Perhaps somebody thinks that it is going to be permanent. Most often we tend to think so. I am going to live forever. If people are aware of their expiry date, life wouldn't have been so. When we look at any medicine or any product in the market, the expiry date is printed on its back. Best before such and such date. Unfortunately, Ishvara has not printed the expiry date on our body. That is why we forget that even we have expiry date. We means the body. Even the body has an expiry date. If Ishvara had printed the expiry date on the body, life would have been different. Because every day we are reminded, you have only these many days. So make best use of it before the expiry date. Bhartrahari says so. Yavat swasthamidam shariram yavat jaradurataha. When the body is in good health, when the old age is still far away, then one should make effort for moksha. Then one should make effort to get Atmajnana. Do not waste the time. So, dehaha, ime dehaha, all these bodies, antavantaha, they are subject to death, subject to anta, subject to an end, subject to destruction. Nityasya sharirinaha, the shariri, the atma, which resides in the body, which is distinct from the body, is Nitya, eternal. It does not have an anta. It does not have a destruction. The body may die. The bodies die. All of us have taken many bodies. But the Atma has remained as it is. It is not subject to destruction. Nityasya sharirinaha ime dehaha antavantaha uktaha. The Shariri, Atma, is Anashi. Once again, Krishna emphasizes on the fact that Atma is Anashi, Avinashi, no destruction. Aprameyasya, Atma is Aprameya. The word Aprameya can be described in two ways. Number one, it cannot be measured. We have various units of measurement. Length, breadth, the volume can be measured, length can be measured in terms of space. Then time is measured in terms of second, hour, etc. Desha, kala, space, time, all these are measured. Atma cannot be measured because measurement is possible only if it has limitations. Being infinite, Atma cannot be measured by any quantum. In terms of space, or in terms of time, or in terms of any other thing, Atma cannot be measured because it is infinite. All measurements are possible in the finite. In the infinite, there cannot be any measurement. Therefore, Aprameya. There is another meaning of Aprameya. It is not object of any knowledge. Atma cannot be objectified by any cognition, any experience cannot objectify the Atma because it is the very nature of the subject. It is the very self of the subject. Therefore, it cannot be known as the object. Aprameyaha. It does not become object of knowledge. This kind of Atma is Nitya, eternal, free from limitation in terms of time. Therefore, nobody can kill the Atma. Nobody can destroy the Atma. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, do not have the guilt, do not feel bad that so many people are dying in the battlefield. Do not have the grief. Instead, do your duty. Do your swadharma without having the sorrow, without harboring grief. Tasmad yudhyasva bharata. He Bharata, O Arjuna, yudhyasva, fight, do your duty, do not succumb to the weakness of heart, thinking that the Atma is destructible. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.